Today we talk about Kirby. What aspect of Kirby we're going to be talking about? Well, there was one Kirby villain that basically disappeared on the internet overnight. What is this Kirby villain? Well, if you of course read the title, you'd probably know who this is. So, let's go all the way back to a game called Kirby 64. It is basically considered one of the better Kirby games. It released in 2000, and it had the ability where you can combine your powers. I never played it because I never really played the N64. I bet it probably is a pretty good Kirby game. Definitely better than the ones on the Wii. But this Kirby game is remembered by a lot of Kirby fans as one of the better Kirby games, and it got re-released 3 times. Twice on the Virtual Console for Wii U and Wii, and on the Nintendo 64 online. But there was one character there, and this won't be the last character we'll be talking about. The names have basically been, these characters have basically been forgotten. But basically until around 2013 to 2018, when you looked up the words 02, what would show up would of course be the main villain from Kirby 64. 02, which is basically the character's name, which basically is the main antagonist of Kirby 64, the Crystal Stars. It resides within Dark Star. Basically, it's one of those characters that basically becomes hidden, basically, oh, I'm the main villain, so... And it's another incarnation of Dark Matter, from the last boss you beat, and the other Kirby game called, I think it's called Kirby 3 or something, on the SNES, and basically you had to fight Zero, which is basically the predecessor to Zero 2. But, ever since 2018, what happened? What happened to this character? This character, okay, first of all, this character is very Nightmare Fuel. It's a little angel that bleeds. But, ever since 2018, this character has basically disappeared off the internet. Because, like of several other characters, there's a character with the same name popped up and became more popular. This also happened with the character Hanzo from Naruto. He basically became forgotten ever since Overwatch released, unless you're a Naruto fan. He basically became forgotten then. But now when you look up Zero 2, this guy is nowhere to be seen, despite being the main villain of a Kirby game. I know Kirby 64 released like 20 years ago already, but when you get rid of Kirby 64, you basically just get something else. Yep. You get a character from an anime. So that means Zero 2 from Kirby basically became Kirby's forgotten villain. And of course, it's just another one of Dark Matter's forms. He isn't as memorable as Magawar, Queen Sectonia, and of course King Dedede and Meta Knight. He is just the final boss of one game that a lot of people probably haven't even beaten then, because the N64 is one of Nintendo's lesser selling consoles. And a lot of people who started playing video games started playing during the DS and Wii days and Game Boy games era. And even then, not everybody plays Nintendo games. There are other consoles like the Xbox and PlayStation and even PC gaming. So the amount of sales of Kirby 64 is not that much for the Kirby series. It's actually average for the Kirby series, but it only sold 1.7 million copies. Which, compared to where the Kirby games would be alright. But, compared to Nintendo as a whole, it really didn't sell all too well. And then let's not forget the game released in the last year of the N64's lifespan. Basically meaning the game basically didn't really have that long to sell. So anyways, so that's basically the tale of Zero 2 from Kirby. A character that basically was a main villain of a Kirby game, and then became forgotten because an anime girl showed up from a TV show, so that came out 3 years ago, and then it became a meme on TikTok. Meanwhile, the only thing that is remembered is Nightmare Fuel 02 from Kirby B, and yep, there we go. And also, very recently, man, the internet did make a lyrics with Zero 2's theme, and that theme is pretty good. So if you want to watch that, it's basically recommended. You can really just look up Zero Two or Felix right man, the internet. I don't need to link it to you, because I think you're smart enough to know you can just type it in. But yep, that's the Forgotten Kirby villain. The Forgotten Kirby villain. Unless you're inversed to the Kirby War and a Kirby fanboy, this character will have likely been forgotten then. It is similar to for example, Danzo from Naruto. Even though Danzo from Naruto wasn't even a major character in the series anyways. He only had like a few appearances, and that was in flashbacks in the past. Meanwhile, this character was basically like the main villain of one Kirby game. And basically because another character became really popular, this character became thus not existent. I bet there's many more examples of characters thus being overshadowed by other characters thus coming out and becoming more popular than them. I bet there's lots of characters with similar names that become basically gone because number one, there's a character that already exists with that name and already has a very popular fan base, or that series has a very popular fan base. For example, in the same Solo, the Zero Two anime character is from, there's a character named Ichigo, but you look up Ichigo as the guy from Bleach, because Bleach is definitely far more popular, and he's basically the main character of the entire show. So that's basically about this character. This character appeared in one Kirby game, and basically he is sometimes referenced in other Kirby games, but other than that, he only appears once, and you have to fight him, and you basically defeat him, and he never appears again. Except as different art incarnations of Dark Matter and Void. Void, which is basically the evil version of Kirby. As Kirby, there's a good Void and bad Void, and Kirby's the good side, and there's the dark side of Void. It's kind of like, Star Wars. There's always going to be evil and good. But yep, that's basically about Zero Two or O2 from Kirby. So yep, this is basically what happened to Zero Two from Kirby. Basically, another character appeared, and this guy just doesn't exist anymore on the internet, essentially. And you have to really just search up Zero Two from Kirby if you really want to find a picture of this character. And we reminded that, yes, there is a little character that breeds in a Kirby game. Yep, E-rated everybody. Goodbye.